Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. LoRosa is here with us as well. And we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
She's running for mayor of Jersey City. Ladies and gentlemen, Joyce Watterman. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We happy to have you. We got to give people some backstory. You are the first black woman to serve as Jersey City Council president.
Yes, I am.
And if you are elected, you'll be Jersey City's first black woman mayor.
That's right.
You were the first in your family to graduate high school, college, and earn a master's degree?
Okay.
I got it.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Busy woman, right?
What made you want to get into, politics?
You know, first of all, I'm a pastor, okay? And being a pastor in an urban city, you always helping people, doing things, but you help them on a spiritual level. So when the opportunity came, because I was doing various things in the community, they asked me to run on a slate. And that's really how it happened. It was so simple. And when Steve came and said, would you run? I said, okay, I can do something more impactful for the city. And so that's what caused me to get into politics. It was not like I had a career, like, that was my goal. That wasn't it. My whole goal was really to help the people in the community because they really needed help. Because when me and my husband went to that part of the city, Jersey City, on Monticello Avenue, 168, it was an area that was challenging. And not everybody wanted to go to the challenge areas. And so we felt like, because I'm born and raised in Jersey City, and he is too, what better way to get back to your own people? Right. And so that's what really made me, really get into politics, knowing that I can take people to the next level.
What do you think about a lot of the stuff that they've done in Jersey City, right? You said you're born and raised in Jersey City. I'm very familiar with Jersey City.
Okay.
But it seems like they pushed a lot of the residents that lived there a long time, kind of like what they did in Brooklyn. Like they pushed you guys, some of the long-term residents, so far back. Now it's one side, it's all fresh and nice, and now the rent is going high because of what's going on. So how do you fix those type of problems?
Well, what I've done since I've been in office, I've always created like first-time home buyers class. Because for me, in order to keep people in their community, they have to own it. That's always the issue. So you have to really give people education on the importance of owning it, because being born and raised in Jersey City didn't always look like it looks now.
Oh, I know.
Okay? Because now downtown, which is what we call the most prosperous area, used to be a slum.
I remember.
All right?
That's what strip clubs and clubs used to be.
That's right. And so now, since Jersey City got this big development boom going on, and the people can't afford to stay there, you have to get people to see the importance of ownership. So you create programs to give people ownership, because when you own, it creates first-generation wealth. And that's what we need as a people. And so for me, that's something I've done, and I will always continue to do, because I'm a homeowner too. See, I came from housing, so I know what it is not to have, all right, and the struggle to even purchase. And so you want to make sure people understand that. So for me, that will have, that keeps people in Jersey City there. You got to get them to home ownership. You must get them, because we came out of COVID, all right? And coming out of COVID, what people don't realize is there was no development going on. So across the nation, really, is a house shortage. And so being in the political arena, you got to make sure that development continue, so the shortage, you can kind of close the gap, because it's about supply and demand. The less the supply, the higher it is. The more the supply, the lower it is. And so that's what my vision is, to create that, because people need to stay there. They really do.
Being in the position that you're in, is it truly possible to make things happen when you get in those rooms?
I believe it is.
Okay,
because I'm in those rooms. Because if I wasn't in those rooms, I can get the programs done. So you are pushing the needle forward, all right? But now transitioning to mayor is your vision. It's like a CEO of a company. They have a vision for their company.
Close to the mic, okay.
They have a vision for the company, all right? And so as the mayor, you have a vision for your city. And for me, ownership is really important, because that stops gentrification. It helps people economically, because all of this stuff is affecting people and pushing people out. So you got to create things that people can stay there. You have to.
When you talk about being able to get things done, federal overreach is something you talk a lot about. Is that even possible to fight back against that? Because we see how our federal government is moving. Like, they do what they want. Is that really possible?
Sure, everything is possible. Realize that. It is. Everything is possible. So you just got to be willing to fight, okay? Sometimes what we have the tendency to, we want to quit. I mean, is it going to be easy? No. But life ain't easy. So what we have to do is continue to fight with the federal government to get the funds that we need. And if we continue to do that, I believe we'll get some funding, It's like you get your way, I get my way. And in the politics, that's what it is. But you can't give up. You just can't.
One thing about Jersey City that I always see is there's always the infrastructure in Jersey City is not the best, right? Always flooding, especially right by that tunnel. How do you fix that? And also congestion pricing has affected a lot of people in Jersey. So how do you fix those two things?
Well, what you do, because now we're doing infrastructure, because now the federal government had given funding to deal infrastructure, because Jersey City is over 100 years old. So when you start replacing the infrastructure, that does help with the flooding. That's what we have done, and that's what we continue to do, because it's just an old city. And so those, as far as the congestion prices, no, we don't like them, but what can we do? We just got to keep allowing our voices to be heard, to say we don't like it, and after a while, maybe they'll hear our cry. And so as an elected official, you represent the people, so your voice should never be silent. See, if our voices are silent as elected official, then we're in trouble.
You've been a pastor, like as you said, you've been an activist and a politician. Which one of those titles gets the most smoke?
A mother.
Mother. Wow.
I'm only teasing.
That's your daughter behind you? That's your daughter.
I'm only teasing. No. A politician does.
Definitely.
To be perfectly honest, because see, when you step into this arena, you got to realize you stepping into an arena that is negative anyway. To be perfectly honest. All right. So when I stepped into the arena, I realized it was negative. But when you want to do good, you let your good outweigh the negative. To be perfectly honest. And because being a politician, and I know that it's negative, but I really know the impact that I make, and the more good I do, I keep going forward. So it's like in life. Some days you have a good day, some days you have a bad day, but this is life, and this is what life is all about. I tell people, I give the analogy like life is a box of chocolates, all right? You can look in a box of chocolate, and you can pick out one, and you can take a bite. But if you don't like it, you can have another selection, and that's what life is really all about. Making another selection if you don't like it. As long as you breathing, you can make a choice and you can make a difference. That's the way I live my life.
What was Mayor Fulop doing, or what was he not doing that made you say, I want to be a mayor? What job was he not getting done that you said, I have to jump into this bullpit?
Well, you know what, for him, for what was he not doing, I think that we had to broaden our city more. I don't want to say it was that he was not doing, I think his time was up. You understand what I'm saying? Because after a while, you need a new perspective. And I come with a different perspective. I come from a background who has challenges and who didn't have. So like I said, my thinking is like when it comes to housing, how can we create ownership? Okay, maybe, us coming in with him, he was probably thinking about, let's get just building started. Okay, we got building started now, but people need to own because people are being pushed out. Right. All right, so you just have to take it to another level. And I just see life a little different from my perspective, because I'm married 49 years, so I look at life totally different.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, how did the marriage perspective impact how you see politics?
It teaches you how to hang in there. See, because people don't understand what marriage is a give and take. And so it is with politics, it's a give and take. And so you have to have a commitment that I'm not backing out or I'm not running out. That's the way marriage is too. All right. So politics is challenges. I'm not backing out and I'm not running out. I have a commitment there. And so that's why with marriage, you've got to have a commitment, because life is not easy. And what you put in it, that's what you get out of it. And because I'm not a selfish person, because with marriage, you can't be selfish neither. All right. You learn to give and take. So that's what it is to me.
I like that, because it's like you got just like how you got to choose your partner.
Right.
Like you're choosing to be of service to the city of Jersey City. I like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about some of the violence sometimes we see in Jersey City.
Okay.
I do a lot of stuff in Jersey City, a lot of block parties. Salute to DiBiase, do it free. I just love to see the kids enjoying themselves. And I remember going out there one night, and it had to be about 1,500 kids out there. And I was like, Jesus Christ, if a fight breaks out. But it was all peaceful. But what made me think that there has to be more stuff. There's not enough things for kids to do in Jersey City. So how do you change that?
You get the community involved. See, I believe that's why everybody have to be at the table. Being a mother and giving back, and I created my own summer program, being a pastor, helping others pursue excellence. Being a part and bringing people together helps you and help the young people be a part of the community. I have to give up my time. It's like this. I give this analogy, okay, because I'm a pastor. You'll understand this, okay? Now, when I bring my children to church, right, children's church, and they have to stay in children's church, they told me when I go to children's church that I'm going to have to give up at least one Sunday a month to come in there because I'm putting my kids in there. So is it when we in the community. the parents and everyone have to know we can create this, but you're going to have to give up some of your time. This is how you help the youth. We're not requiring people to give back. You know, my kids are grown, but I'm still fighting for youth, all right? I'm fighting for your child. So if I'm fighting for your child, if I create something, you should be willing to give some of your time. This is how we're going to have to help the youth, all right? Like you said, you went out there to do the Black Party. Maybe your kids ain't even out there, but you did it. You understand? So is it everybody in the neighborhood should take that approach too. Everybody have to give back, and this will help our youth. This will help us create programs that we need to create because everybody's a part of it. I take those analogies, and that, to me, that helps the youth.
When you talk about the parents being able to give time during those situations, like a lot of times you hear, well, I'm working multiple jobs, I'm trying to afford, and right now everybody's trying to just afford. Where are you? Because I know economics is a big part of what you talk about. Where are you with that and making sure the parents can afford to even be there?
Part of that is making sure I got all the developers and everybody that got money at the table.
I like money at the table.
You got that right. Money at the table is important, and I think in politics people have to see that government can't do everything. All right, I need private dollars also for that parent who cannot afford it. All right, if I got a developer or somebody who have money at the table, then they can contribute, because you know why, they're in the city and they see that it's an investment. We have to start looking at our children and our city as an investment, and those who have more money, we have to create that story. No, you investing. All right, she has to work for her family. She can't be there, but you can invest to make sure her kid is off the street. And so they have to be at the table to make sure, no, you contributing to this too.
You know, you're one of the few Black women leading at your level. Do you ever feel pressure to represent all things to all people?
Yes, I do. That's true. You do feel that, because see, when you are a Black woman, people look at you totally different. They really do, in every profession, you know, and the pressure's on. All right. And so being in this level here, I do feel the pressure. People ask me that, but I made a commitment. All right. And it's that commitment that allows me to keep pushing on. That's why even in this mayor race, okay, I'm the Black woman that's running, all right? They talk about finances. Oh, she ain't got this. She ain't running. I mean, the stuff that I just had to go through, to be perfectly honest, all right? But because I am a fighter and I am determined, all right? Because I didn't get in this for you. I really got in this to really make a difference, because I really believe that I'm fortunate. You know, I tell people, it sounds corny to some people, but I really believe that I'm fortunate because of my background. And because I am fortunate, I want to pave the way for others. So even in the struggle that I have, and even though they say, oh, she ain't going to do it, she ain't going to raise as much money, that's not going to stop me.
That's right.
Because remember, I came from a background that we sold fish sandwiches.
Hey.
Oh, building up the church.
Thank you. All right, that's what I'm saying. You don't know where I come from. So it's not, you know, I need money, but it's not like I got to have so much of it, you know, because I know how to survive. I know how to sell a fish sandwich, a chicken sandwich, okay, have a rent party. I've been there. I've done that. So, no, to me, no, I'm in it.
Now,
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, the mayor and governor, you know, usually of a state are hand in hand with so many different things, right? Have special interests and interests with each other. Who do you like for the governor race?
You know what? I'm still undecided with that, because I really wanted to see the debates. I didn't have a chance to see their debates yet because I just been so busy. But hopefully by Sunday, I told my husband, let's sit down and we'll watch to see exactly, you know, who has, you know, who can deliver to us what we need in the urban city. Because that's important. That's what I say. Urban and suburban is totally different. And you got to know that concept. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't think everyone knows that until they're there. All right, so that's why I'm undecided yet, because to me that's going to impact me, especially I'm the mayor. I got to know who I'm working with.
That's right.
You know, I got to know that you understand that our children have challenges in our school system. I need you to make sure that there's funding there, because of the simple fact that I'm dealing with a financial level that parents don't have it. So are you willing to help me get the funding so that these kids can have it? I need you to be a voice for me so I can fight with these developers. When you build your building, give me 2 more stories to give me a school. I need a governor that's really going to let me know, you know, I got your back.
Right.
That's why I got to really look at that.
We were just talking about, go ahead.
Okay.
We were talking about building up the church and you making do with what you have, because that's what we do
right.
as Black women, Black people in general. But do you ever have to talk yourself out of just making do and be like, I deserve to get what is happening with other mayors in other cities and stuff like that?
You know what? I don't look at that. And the reason why I don't look at that, because that can take you to another place, to be perfectly honest. So what I do, I really just try to stay focused on my goal. That's what I do, because certain things could take you to a certain place, to be honest. All right. So I just try to keep out of that. All right. Because I know I can go there.
What does real power for black people in politics look like to you?
Being a voice for my people. And my people understanding I'm really your voice, not against you. Mm-hmm. I know your struggle. I know what it is. I know the BS that goes, along with it. Just knowing that I really got your back. Mm-hmm. I have my challenges because of who I am. That doesn't stop. And I want you to know that every step that I take, I'm taking you with me. Mm-hmm. I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm. So what's your message to people who see the dysfunction in politics right now and say, why bother? Why bother going out there to vote for anybody?
I tell them, first of all, I do understand it. Because if you just look at what's happening in our country right now, you feel like, what's the sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right? But then I break it down locally why it's important for you to vote. Because I give them this simple analogy. I say, you know what? This is important. I said, now, on your street, let's say you have a two-way street. Mm-hmm. And that two-way street gets you to your school in like 10 or 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Now you come back 3 months later, it's no longer a two-way street. All right? So that disrupted you going to school, made you a little later. I said, this is why you need to get involved with that, because I wrote the law to say now it's a one-way. Mm-hmm. It affected you. That's why you need to get involved, because it affects you. Mm-hmm. That's the analogy I give. They get it. Mm.
That's right.
Well, make sure you get it out. Now, you're doing an event Wednesday, July 30th. Tell them about this event.
I'm doing an event. It's an all-white event. We're going to have a great time. This is a fundraiser for me, for Joyce, for JC.com. Please come out.
It's at the Robert Treat Hotel.
It's at the Robert Treat Hotel. Yes, it is.
All-white affair.
All-white affair. And who's the DJ gonna beat it? All right, then. Qua gonna be there.
We love an all-white affair, don't we?
We
white
do.
Linen.
Mm-hmm. You know what? We just like white. Mm-hmm. We do. The colors, it's something about a white color. Mm-hmm. It does, And so please come out. And, if you want to contribute, you can always go to joyceforjc.com. Nothing is too small. Listen, I told you, we know how to sell fish sandwiches and chicken sandwiches to get it done.
You done got me hungry.
Yes,
you done mentioned the fish sandwiches way too much. Now I want me a fried fish sandwich.
Hot sauce.
That's right. Batter. That's right. And so, please, I really do appreciate it because I just believe Jersey City needs right now an experienced leader. Mm-hmm. And I did 12 years on the council. And believe me, I work for what I have. No one gave it to me. All right? I believe I'm fair, I'm firm, and I'm flexible. My word is my bond. I live by that. You know what I mean? I tell people politics is what I do, but that's not who I am. I've always been a voice for the people, and I will continue to be a voice for the people because I do believe I am fortunate. You talking to a girl who came out of the project, out of the hood, out of the things that people say would not come anything good come out of. Mm-hmm. And so I am fortunate to be where I'm at. And so I want to take as many people as possible with me because when I close my eyes from this life, I really want somebody to say, well done. I believe that wholeheartedly. I do. I believe that I'm fortunate. I really do. I appreciate this. I really do.
Thank you, Joyce, for joining us.
Go to joyceforjc.com to make a donation.
That's
Joyce
right.
Watterman.
She's running for mayor of Jersey City. Make sure you go out and support her. And thank you for joining us this morning.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm here. The
All right.
Breakfast Club.
Now get some fish sandwiches.
It's the Breakfast Club. It's Joyce Waterman.
Wake that ass up
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.